Minasan konnichiwa, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever been playing Spider-Man Miles Morales and then suddenly found yourself experiencing a profound sense of how to be a responsible individual? No? I'm the only one? Well, the game has some hidden themes that teach us about responsibility, and that's exactly what we're gonna discuss today. So let's get on with it and cut the bullshit. So in the beginning of the game, Peter and Miles are working together to secure this raft, or let's say it's just a portable prison cell or whatever, that is hanging from a helicopter until it gets to the destination. But it does not go so smoothly because the supervillain inside the raft is trying his best to break free, which causes the helicopter to lose its balance. So the two Spider-Men were supposed to contain the situation by stabilizing the raft. But Miles wanted to handle this on his own, so he was like, I got this, don't worry. But then he messes up, causing the helicopter to crash anyway.
Going down! Helix 2 is going down! Brace, brace, brace!
Then it turns out that Rhino was inside the container, so then he escapes and starts running around and destroying New York. Miles then takes full responsibility of this action and tried doing his absolute best to try and stop him. He tries so hard to redeem himself that he discovers that he possesses new electrical venom abilities, which he uses to defeat Rhino and save the city.
Bro, back the hell? What was that?
So the first lesson that we're gonna talk about today is that it's inevitable that we will screw up at some point in our lives. When that happens, instead of making excuses or blaming others, we must take full responsibility for our actions and do whatever it takes to rectify the situation. So if you ever oversleep or screw up on a test, instead of blaming your phone or blaming the test for being unfair, take responsibility and try to do better the next time. In the game, we see that Miles is responsible for multiple roles at the same time. He's a regular dude who helps around the neighborhood. He's a supportive son who's always there for his mother. He's a friend who's just always there to just chill or just maybe help out. He's a nephew who helps out his uncle with his job, even though he doesn't really need help because he's a supervillain and I don't know why he needs help. And of course, he's Spider-Man. And there's something that's not explicitly mentioned or focused on in the game, but these are Miles' top priorities in his life. His community, his mom, his friends, his nephew, this is what he values and cares about. And he's constantly just trying to balance and juggle all of these roles. So the second lesson to be learned here is that we want to identify what matters to us most and try to fill these roles the best we can. Let's say that family and friends are a top priority for you. In that case, you have two roles to fill. One is a family member who makes sure everyone in the family is well and healthy, and a friend who's always there no matter what. I'm gonna go back to the beginning of the game because there is another lesson to be learned. So in the beginning of the game, Miles works together with Peter Parker to try and stop Rhino from destroying the city. But then Rhino throws Peter Parker so hard that he gets knocked out. So Miles was left there all by himself to take on Rhino. And of course, as I mentioned, Miles inevitably just defeats him. So then both Spider-Men go and hang out on this roof, and then Peter Parker tells Miles that he's not gonna be there for the next few weeks and that he's gonna leave New York for Miles to protect until he comes back. Miles then takes a few seconds to take this in and realizes that now he's 100% responsible for protecting the city as Spider-Man.
I'm New York's only Spider-Man. Please don't screw this up.
Sometimes we face situations where we have to step up to the plate and take on responsibilities that we may not feel that we're fully prepared for. These are the times where we learn and grow the most. So the third lesson here is that sometimes you will be forced out of your comfort zone. That is how you learn. Like, imagine if Miles just backed down and didn't face Rhino. You would think that he's a pussy and it wouldn't have been as fun, right? Or imagine if Miles was like, I'm not ready to be New York's only Spider-Man. If he did that, the whole game wouldn't have happened. The same happens in the real world as well. If you ever get fired from your job, or God forbid, you lose a loved one, it will be hard, but you will learn, you will grow, and it will make you a stronger person. It wouldn't be a Spider-Man story without mentioning, with great power comes great responsibility. Throughout the game, Miles discovers that he has the ability to disable these generators by absorbing their power. But at that point, he only tried disabling small generators. So then he sneaks into this facility and discovers that Finn's brother was murdered by this huge new form reactor, which is just a huge ass generator. So naturally, he decides that he should disable it because he doesn't want anyone else to get hurt. And he simply thought that he could just absorb the energy from this massive reactor just like he did with the smaller one. His attempt was successful, but it almost killed him.
Alright. You gotta get out of there, man. Can you move?
I feel real bad right now. It's like it's tearing me. I can't.
And then, by the end of the game, Finn tries to destroy Roxxon Plaza, which includes destroying an even bigger new form reactor. Miles tells her that this is a huge ass reactor and destroying it will destroy all of Harlem. But she goes ahead and starts the destruction process anyway. And now that she started destroying it, it was beyond repair. So there was only one way to stop it, and that is for Miles to absorb its energy. But doing so may kill him, given that this is an even bigger reactor than the one he tried before. But he goes ahead and does it anyway. But his plan is a bit flawed because he can't just hold the energy within him, so he tells Finn to clear the area before he explodes. But then she takes it upon herself to carry Miles to the sky so that he can perform his explosion. And then Finn dies and the game ends. I didn't have to recap all of this, but you guys seem to like it. I don't know why. But the lesson here is that having powers or abilities comes with the responsibility to use them wisely and for the greater good. Miles could have been just irresponsible and called it a day, but he realizes that he's the only one who could stop the reactor. So he went ahead and took the responsibility, even though it puts his own life at risk. So the fourth and final lesson here, if you ever get put in a place where you have the power to make a difference, it is your responsibility to do so. And before ending the video, let's just remind ourselves that Spider-Man is the best superhero of all time. That's because he's the most relatable superhero of all time. Like, think about it. He's just an ordinary guy with superpowers. He talks and acts just like us, and he faces a lot of the problems that we face in our daily lives. And I would like to end the video by reciting the words of the wise, insightful, deeply esteemed, and the remarkably knowledgeable uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. If you found this video to be useful or entertaining, I think you should check out my other video where I talk about the lessons that we can learn from Need for Speed Most Wanted 2005. I know, that's a strange one. But anyway, it should be on the screen right now, and please like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, Jenny, bye bye.